Roel has discovered. Well, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, we are unmuted. Yes, that is what.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
Hello, and thank you for the follow. Thank you for following us on our Twitch account. We appreciate when people initiate and follow. Hello, thank you.
There are a lot of buttons on the internet that you can hit, but you sure hit that follow button, and gosh darn it, we're thankful for it.
Did you want me to mute real quick so you can
No,
say something?
no, I never wanted it to be muted.
Oh.
I started telling the story again because I was like, oh, I might as well tell this on stream if he's unmuting.
Okay, you're good now.
So my coworker has discovered, like the ultimate conversational fucking weakness, which is just that if you make a weird noise near me, I will just fucking reciprocate it, and just send it right fucking back.
Those mirror neurons at play.
Yeah, so he'll is that file 4? Sure it is. So yeah, he'll just walk past me and go like, roar, and I'll go, roar, right back.
Oh, we actually got to the trial.
Yeah.
Let's give it just a second. I think Kristen's posting our ads.
Oh, good.
That I am.
This stream is sponsored by I was just gonna drop a company name, but
British Petroleum.
British Petroleum. You or a loved one ever been a victim of
British Petroleum.
British Petroleum?
Provider of 5 of the 6 world's largest oil spills.
Was that true?
I don't know, probably.
You heard it here first.
Sponsored by British. Oh, I never noticed that one of the guards has a mustache and the other doesn't. Oh, one of the bobbies, sorry.
One of the bobbies.
Yeah, in addition to you following us, it looks like Amy did since we last streamed. Our friend Amy.
Very nice.
And now it says we actually have 50 on the back end, even though it's 52 now. So, like, apparently one of them didn't count, but now we're actually at the, like, thing, so we can apply for the thing that will give us the things.
Hell yeah! What are you gonna do? Anything else to celebrate? Or are you just gonna drop them emotes?
We'll drop the emotes, but we there's one more thing we have to do. We have to average 3 streamers over a period of time. It's something we've done before though, so we just have to get that again.
3 streamers.
3 viewers.
3 viewers.
Yeah.
Per stream.
But the follower threshold was like the main thing.
Alright, my links have been posted. We may play the game. Zach is in control.
Whoa!
Also, Zach, I just want to let you know.
Okay.
It won't be for a while, but there will be a point where, like, in the second game where, like, there's a 4-way conversation for a long period of time, and 3 of the characters are voiced by you, so when we get to that point, we're gonna, like, redistribute some characters a bit.
Just, like, hand me a glass of whiskey and let me lose my fucking
Just
mind.
talk to yourself for 4 hours. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon?
We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible.
Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass.
Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right.
Good morning. I am. What was your fucking voice? Goddamn.
Like, kind of trembly.
Kinda trembly.
Yeah, you can share the channel if you want, I wouldn't mind.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Oh, dear, are you okay? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot.
The lad.
Early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain.
Yes, I've heard that expression.
They don't want catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. Now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result.
Do all literary people take things so literally? Oh.
Yes, the answer is yes. Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsumi.
I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble.
Really? I can feel tremors on the floor.
I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Yeah?
I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera, where there were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London.
Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato?
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea.
So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it?
Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it?
Yikes. Is that right, Miss Susato?
I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one.
I knew it.
You know it.
I knew it.
Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey. He stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday.
Too bad he's about to get his Van cheeks clapped again.
Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Dyke's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was.
They got his fucking Lucky Charms. They fucking got
His
them.
They got him.
red balloons. Or shoes.
I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's.
But we wouldn't have realized, of course, only just having arrived in the country.
Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking. They are all speculating various answers.
Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us.
Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it.
Well, lest we forget the fact that it could spark an international accident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago.
Yes, I agree.
Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you!
Me? Well, I suppose that's true.
Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper!
Yeah, I had the game set wrong the first time, so it said we were playing Arceus, but it should be fixed now. Please! I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers.
I'm afraid there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck.
Got him.
Well, thanks for that.
Speculation.
Oh.
Speculate away.
Mr. Reaper's interference in these cases and us getting set up with these cases has nothing to do with Naruhodo and does have to do with his bad luck because he is taking over these cases for Kazuma, who should have been doing this, who would know the motivation behind most of this shit.
Interesting theory.
Interesting thought.
I worded that horribly, but basically Kazuma would know what's going on.
He would see the links here.
He would see the links here, but we don't, because this has to do with whatever his fucking secret was.
I obviously won't say.
Yeah, yeah.
All I'm gonna say is your brain is going to some of the right places.
Okay.
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 Also, I like how the random color that little green fox appears in chat is green.
It's not random.
It's not?
You can pick that.
You
Yeah,
can pick that?
Yeah, you can pick that.
I did. Fuck.
Wow, Nick, I can tell that you don't use Twitch all that often.
Well, I remember like a couple streams ago there was someone that had like a red color in their name, but it wasn't red and it was bothering me, and like they tried to change it but couldn't.
Mhm.
But I think it might have been the platform they were on.
You can definitely change it. I made mine purple very intentionally.
Okay, cool.
Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such a frail fortune?
Yikes.
By the least lucky lawyer alive!
Ooh.
Let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yeah, it's true, I'm just a student new to London with little in the way of experience or skills. Or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
You're now alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side.
Preach.
Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant, Miss Miko Toba Esquires. I am in your debt forever. I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live.
Let the bailiff counsel for the defense.
They're here!
A court session is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom kindly.
Get in here!
Damn,
Get your ass in here.
Sucks that Soseki's gonna die no matter what.
Damn.
Yeah.
Alright then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go.
Yes!
Damn, I drank all my water before the court began.
Oh my
This is it.
god.
My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma.
I am, bro.
Because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last.
Hell yeah.
Like you believed in me. I believe I can do this. I'll fight.
Do you have to die, bro?
Yeah, bro. That's very unbro of you.
Not very bro of you at all. To die without kissing me on the
Passed
lips.
away. Without passionately
Dying in my
smacking
arms.
lips. What do they call it in Harry Potter? Snogging?
Yep.
Oh.
That's what it's called in this country. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Is that close to what you would call?
That's perfect. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Yep.
I now call upon the counsels for prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
Oh,
Oh god, what did I do for you?
a vampire.
Alucard.
The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord.
Got some shit to say?
The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed.
Sorry, what?
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you were a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur.
Amatwa.
Do you have a point?
2, in fact, on my teeth. Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance.
Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description.
They toned down the racism in the English localization too. It was way worse than the original.
I was about to say, this is like, he's kind of getting aggressive with this, but
It was way worse. Like when you played the fan translation, which was like way more literal.
damn.
Sato-san.
After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent.
Makes lazy eye contact with the camera while pouring his glass.
Very true, and a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate, violent end.
Yikes.
Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public?
me know when you might need to borrow you down on your luck. I do believe in fair play for everyone.
It's just the same guy.
It's
with a
the
different
dude.
hat.
Well, I must warn you, I'm a rather more ruthless than I appear.
Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow.
I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that the mustache foreigner did the deed.
Come on, what are we waiting for? No, Daddy did it anyway.
There's so many. Sorry, didn't quite catch that.
Very well. Let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Sykes.
Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Saseki Natsume. While our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. A set of plunging
No.
a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street.
A knife crime? I tell you from what? A knife crime? I tell you from bitter experience. Those are the worst. Bloody oath they are.
Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
Hey, fuck off with that.
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollowed chalice here in this great chamber.
No prob, Bob.
Allow me to call the first witness to the stand.
Very well. I will flee the inspector and please.
The inspector.
The inspector? Oh, he's gonna get the fucking prize all over the court. Your name and occupation, please.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
The victim is thought to be a young woman
Oh.
in her 20s by the name of Olive Green.
Have we seen her yet?
No. That's so sad. I want to pinch her cheeks.
Aww.
Her dead little cheeks.
Oh.
She's very much alive.
Oh yeah, that's right. She didn't even die.
She just got stabbed, but she's in the hospital.
She's chill.
I beg your pardon, Inspector.
Bold!
Thought to be bold.
Bold!
Never.
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since.
What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. I see. But her life is not in danger.
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector.
Sir, if I could ask everyone... If I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not been long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far.
Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
A case file?
Whoa.
What of the weapon that was used?
An overview of the case. Alright, stab wound to the back. Early 20s. East side of Briar Road. Rolly beat.
Is unconscious. Name was gleaned from her personal effects. Other details are unknown apart from the single stab wound. No other signs of injury. Seen running away by the reporting officer and was successfully arrested the following day. Rolly beat.
Rolly beat.
That sounds like that's gonna be a funny guy.
Ugh. Silly fella.
We have the love letter still?
Nah, I don't
Nah,
look
that
like
wasn't
it.
taken as evidence.
Do you know what that person's name was?
Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back.
Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now.
With a heavy weight like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman.
Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. Common old garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Now then, what do we do of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume?
That's gotta wait.
The wing.
Is there an engraving? No.
Whoop.
Is it literally? Is that?
That's it.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, the very end is chipped.
Oh shit! You're right.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip.
Just
Look at the
check.
tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
The tip is missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mr. Sato.
I wonder what could have happened to it.
Yes. You don't think? Could still be lodged in the victim, do you?
Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. That it?
Slice.
Ooh!
Got him.
What we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord.
I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim?
I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsumi, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
God, I love those eyes.
If theft and grievance had been ruled out as a motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Oh!
Bro!
My wine!
Ray,
My leg!
forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the
Oh,
public
oh,
gallery. God, he's so unhinged, I love it. But your words have soured its hollowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here.
What?
Put your damn feet on the table now.
Mm.
Damn it. Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you got through constabulary in only one try.
Wow!
That was hard.
As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about the victim but the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he'd just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It's just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him.
Zach, could you hand me my coffee, please?
Your coffee?
My coffee.
Old books, you say?
Oh, and Nick, I know you just finished up your water, but I brought some more up right there.
Oh, cool, thank you.
Yes. Old books.
Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the accident.
Oh no! Oh yes, I see the books of which you are to referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector.
Her feet are teeny tiny.
It's just perspective.
You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Shut the fuck up.
Excuse me. My coffee went down the wrong pipe. Okay.
A meal for Gabbro. Canterbury yearnings.
It's not actually gonna let me see, like, damn it. I was hoping I could, like...
You know, I bet we'll
the
be
book
able to.
would be the same or something.
I think we'll be able to press Inspector on it.
So tiny.
Itty bitty.
They're like Fire Emblem Awakening feet.
Wow, look at all that no blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's...
The knife is still in.
Yeah, the knife is still... Wow, I'm learning things about crime from this game.
Time to crime.
Time to crime. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Well,
Forgive me, Lord Benzix, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it.
What are you doing, Miss Susato?
You go on.
Mr. Nasume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, now that you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had happened.
So I was walking along that accursed pavement, make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. Woman wearing a green overcoat she was, just as I went to overtake her. Suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed into the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
Great uppercut.
That's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing!
Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What in the world? What will the world come up with next?
The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back.
Nobody else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes.
Oof.
It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. And proceed, please.
Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance!
Turnabout deep.
Oh, the turntable. Alright.
5 o'clock.
Get the pressing.
A light fog. A light fog.
A light fog.
Well, like for London, you could see the opposite side of the street for once, not much further.
That's light, is it?
Around these parts, yes, not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course.
I've heard that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance.
How quaint.
Quaint indeed.
Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate.
I see.
This time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm.
Indeed, the other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
Sato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen.
The day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. That no doubt lamented by the accused.
Gasp.
How are you able to state that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witness to this crime have told us.
Ah, yes. Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he?
That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from the Scotland Yard.
That is correct, ma'am.
I'm correct!
Then we must hear their testimony!
Prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary.
But, wait a minute! At 5 o'clock in the afternoon is in the middle of the winter, it could have been dark already. No matter how light the fog must have been, no one could have seen.
Street lamps. I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas street lights.
Ah!
Powered by my own farts.
Red Bull.
Prosecution. The prosecution believes there would have been an ample light by which to witness the crime.
Quite! Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Which means we really need to hear those witnesses' statements. Just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to.
Yo, I just got a notification from Netflix to tell me that Murderville is on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess I need to watch it.
I guess you do.
You're
They knew we were streaming.
a murder,
Yup.
a stabbing.
Right.
A
A stabbing.
Seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
From behind, you say?
That's right. As you can see from this print.
She looks like a Popeye character.
Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back.
She looks like a Popeye character imitating the like pose that Peter Griffin does when he falls on the ground.
Stop!
Family Guy in the style of Popeye.
And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition? Comatose, no less?
Comatose, no less.
Afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Marks. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be.
Who assaulted the Weeble Wobble?
That is indeed a pity. Who would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of the events?
Luck is on your client's side, it seems.
Who the fuck stabbed you?
On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky.
Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. Holy shit, I'm racist.
Weeble Wobble, fall down.
The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Mr. Natsume's belongings?
You'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene.
Yes, the 3 books on the floor.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books. They were irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. Okay, but what are their names? Hughes could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
Por ejemplo.
He's very clever, isn't he?
What do you mean?
He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with those books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back?
You mean to say the defendant fried this rice?
That must be what happened, my lord. Yes. Books he was just bought.
So
But
about
what are
those
the
books.
names of
Yeah,
the
tell me
books?
the name of the books, Bobby.
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis.
Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. Commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
No! Well, if I must. I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid.
The street map?
Oh, where is it? Urban Books. Closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. Oh.
Local map. Receipt.
Your books. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, you
Spaghetti.
fucked up, Inspector.
Those aren't your books. Those are my books.
A place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. Happens the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. God damn, I'm smart.
Something indeed.
I inspected.
Please add this
Yes.
to your testimony.
I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
From that
That
particular
particular
shop. Mr. Naruhodo. I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance.
Hint, hint.
Nudge,
Yes,
nudge.
I agree. The most important point the inspector just made being the Inspector
stuck.
Gregson, may I ask you a favor? A favor?
What?
Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance, as Susato just said.
Maybe?
Oh, well, you know.
Aw.
Yes,
Oh.
it could be a very important clue.
I'm just shocked Gregson hasn't eaten like a single fry this whole time.
He hasn't been stressed yet.
Very well, not that I can see it of being of any great significance. With my tiny brain, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector.
Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say.
Could the man be any more sardonic?
So, you wanna just... Yeah, that.
Urban Books.
You wanna
Uh,
rethink that?
Yeah, buddy. Inspector, you wanna look at this?
Iki Ari. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson.
What is it, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know.
This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books.
You found that in the accused room, did you?
Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
No.
The receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your books! Y-O-R-E, I presume.
Yes, my lord. Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
Eh? What?
Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that... Well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
But in fact, that is the bookshop from which the defendant visited on that day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tome... Why do they keep calling them musty? It makes no difference in the final analysis.
Oh.
I disagree. I mean, after all,
I have the street map here, if that might be of help.
oh, yeah, thank you. Have a look at this, please. Please.
Please.
Please.
If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then he would have almost certainly passed the place where Ms. Green was attacked. However,
If we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, your books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true?
My, rather depends on where the other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said?
Absolutely. It absolutely could be right.
It absolutely couldn't be.
Inspector Gregson, where is this your books establishment?
Well, obviously we looked into that. Turns out that your books,
It's gonna be like right fucking next to it.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
just here in the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east.
You say it's a small place, but it looks...
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Bigger than the other shop, actually.
Yeah.
And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh.
My learned Eponi's friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus.
There it is. There's the
There
line.
it is.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you.
I, didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. The accused was coming home from your books instead of bourbon books. There's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Oh, they know he could have gone down Calabash.
But he already admitted that he was behind the woman, right?
Yeah, true.
Hmm.
Yes, thank you, Inspector.
Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Eponi's friend. You gonna
Only
throw that glass?
somewhat sweet.
A little bit.
Oh, you didn't throw it, you crushed it.
Oh.
Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
I am defeated.
As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try.
What did I say? I have had enough of this now.
Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up.
What do you mean?
If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty.
Ah, she's absolutely right.
We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully.
It claims Saseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but...
So I want to raise an objection, but like it is like you were saying, like he already did admit to being behind her at the time of the incident.
Right?
So should we leave it?
My impulse is to say leave it, but also if whenever like something like this is like brought up at all, I want to raise the objection.
They do, like, it usually is raise an objection, but they, like, make you do the other one enough to where you actually have to think about it. I think I'd better leave it alone for now.
Very well, if the defense has no rebuttal here.
Mr. Naruhodo, as I said before, we can't give up here. We have to fight back.
Oh, yeah, I realize that, but sometimes the best way to fight is to do nothing, you know?
You're about to get fucking Susato slain.
You're right, what am I talking about? Doing nothing will get us anywhere. It wasn't sitting right with me anyway.
Nick, could you get me a blanket?
Yeah, the assertion made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Oh?
First, we must deal with the inexcusable tardiness of your
Oh my
objection.
god!
Shit.
Mr. Naruhodo, remember, we have to fight back!
Anytime you go to like decide if you're gonna object or not, she just fucking gets into the position.
You remember last time, right? I don't know what's worse, the court penalty or Susato sounds piercing glare.
It's definitely the glare.
Explain yourself, counsel.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on the map. According to the map, when returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. The defendant used these streets. Look what happens. He arrived back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was stabbed.
Taking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way around.
Ah,
On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home?
well,
The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this obvious crime.
It all sounds so obvious.
yeah, I got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself, ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home.
Already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection.
Nani?
That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home.
This fuck.
I don't believe this!
I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around the subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors?
But even if that's the case, the defense still...
Ooh.
I agree with Lord Van Zipes. Wholeheartedly and in every way.
What? I don't believe it. Does this mean...
We members of the jury are completely convinced now.
Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all the members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
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 Fuck.
Heck.
Oh shit.
Time to
We're
appeal
boned.
to the masses.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. How's that dust taste?
To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably.
No, not yet. This isn't over yet.
One last chance to sway the opinion of the jury.
I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow.
Somehow.
Those are the eyes of Corey, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that would have been buried long ago?
Call it antiquated if you will. But it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it chooses.
Very well, Count. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. As members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his onkish refusal to throw in the alley. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will explain on what grounds you determined the defendant to be guilty.
Yay!
One second, I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go.
I'm gonna go submit my.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Well,
and there he goes.
there he goes.
Just like that. How the hell does he come in here with like shorts and a t-shirt? And like I have like long pants on and I need a blankie.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've got a couple layers going on right now, so like I'm fine-ish, but it's still like I can still feel how chilly it is.
Nick's just built differently.
I think he is. I think he is just built different. Can't wait until we get around the last juror and me fucking ask him why he thinks he's guilty, and he's just like, that's what everyone else was doing, and I couldn't hear nothing.
Old man.
Yeah,
Just going with the flow.
yeah. So I do if I couldn't hear shit.
Oh, I see that you also need a blanket, Nick.
Yeah, I'm a little chilly.
Oh, coward.
Mr. Coat.
Mr. No Coat.
Oh,
For pity's sake, that little Neepany thought it he already admitted it himself, didn't he?
if he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, well, it can only have been the victim.
Man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful.
I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing.
Your books, yes. Nice shop that. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
Wow. I hate, like, almost all these reasons.
With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear.
Stabbing occurred. The only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. The accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant has fled the scene. I must say I would give ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears to be convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now.
Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker no one could see? This is impossible. How could I possibly make a case for the defense?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling.
Grumble, grumble.
If we want to force the trial to continue...
I know, I have to turn the tide. Haha, I must make the jurors change their mind. Haha, well, 4 of them at least.
Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. I just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes.
You know that meme where it's like, I just need to make it to the weekend. I just need to make it to the weekend, and they get more progressively exhausted in like every panel. It's that's Naruhodo going, I just need to keep this trial going. I just need to keep
A
this
little
trial
longer, just
going.
keep them talking. Come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it.
Oh,
Jury examination.
Alright.
hit?
Oh, do you remember this?
Apparently not.
You have to pit 2 of the witnesses, or
Jurors.
jurors' statements against each other. But you can also press them.
Let's press first.
Excuse me, but aren't you? Yes, that's right. I was on the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the side of it, anyway.
I like this angle.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started for fossicking around Bruce Fairplay with a man of repute. Sorry.
Who?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals.
Whoa, that's a large one.
Oh, well, you know.
Water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have begun badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock. Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Thank goodness. Alright. Maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our history.
Oh, dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now.
She cute.
Is that the noise she makes?
Definitely.
You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite, that's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little Nipponese man with a disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madame, the defendant vehemently denies attacking someone.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he could have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little mind?
Damn, I regret saying you're cute.
She's very uncute now.
Very uncute now.
I can tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly have committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well for her. But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books.
Oh, yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash or Calabash Road or something?
Precisely.
It seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not.
Well, yes, that's true.
And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there?
Well, yes, that's true as well.
And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he?
Well, yes, that's annoyingly true.
Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible.
Well, yeah. Why is all this true?
So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road.
I'm supposed to be convincing you here.
I have given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calabash Road, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would.
Thank you, juror number 3.
A reason why Saseki-san might have taken the longer way home.
Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Whatever is the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume's room?
The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid. The maid, you understand.
She's keeping up that charade. This is gonna be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That had been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean?
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit such a crime?
Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just the sort.
What?
Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrumptious mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more.
Well, you just called him a worm. Anyway, I better be careful not about inviting this maid to speak. She's said enough damning things already. A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's.
Ah?
Well, Trivia wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. And if I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of the year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're all cheap labor to get the roads dug up and fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk, it is.
So you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right. Mearsham Street it was.
Mearsham Street.
On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets.
Error number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can't we get this business over with now?
Please, sir. It's important.
I'll do it then. On the day it happened, I was digging up Mearsham Street from dawn till dusk.
Mearsham Street. Ah.
Off-road. We don't know if it was closer to Briar or Calabash, though. Press him again.
So, if I understand correctly, you're a day laborer and you were doing road maintenance that day.
That's right. Like I said, you get a lot of burst gas and water pipes underground in the middle of the winter. It's the only time of year fellows like me can actually make a few bob, and I'm missing out today.
When you say from dawn till dusk.
Well, the work has to be completed within the day, so no coaches or pedestrians can pass while it's happening.
Or pedestrians, you say?
I wonder if I could trouble you, sir. To mark on the street map the exact location of the works you were carrying out.
Give it here then. Let me have a look. Alright, let's see then.
Bingo.
Here we are, Mearsham Street. Yep, it was just here, like. Just a tidy dig, I can tell you. We had to put through all the drifts of snow that are frozen solid.
And what sort of time did you finish the work?
Well, we started in the morning and we kind of finished before gone 6, I'd say.
Interesting.
Snow had stopped coming down, but it was long past dark for sure.
That means the road work was still going on when Miss Green was attacked around 5 o'clock.
Road work on Mearsham Street, huh?
I just want to press this.
I just want to feel his face.
I do.
Sorry, folded you say? Fold what?
No. I meant to say hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yeah. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing.
He has a green overcoat. He has a green overcoat.
He's round.
He's round and he has a green overcoat.
Oh my
and he left the
God.
fucking store at the same time.
Holy
So the person-
shit.
Oh, wait. We saw them. Hang on. I'm sorry, stream. I need to like.
No,
Thi-
think. Use
Okay.
your noodle.
Okay.
Noodle time.
Okay. He couldn't see anyone else, and the person that he saw suddenly collapsed. Did Soseki ever actually mention that he saw the knife in their back?
I don't know if he did. He ran off. I don't remember exactly what he said. He said he ran off for a reason though, but it might have been a scream or a fall. I'm not sure he ever specifically mentioned the knife.
Two people with green overcoats collapsing on the parallel streets at the same time. Alright.
Alright.
Alright, cool. I just wanted to turn my gears on that for a second, I guess.
Just deposit that in the memory bank.
Alright.
Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked? Are you sure about the time?
Oh, it's no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had where I collapsed in the middle of the road.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and topped my head.
Boom! Case closed!
Got donked, did you?
Always worse after the snow stopped falling, that's when it's most slippery. After so clean out I did, I really thought my number was up.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road?
That's right, I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may be extremely significant.
Oh!
Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now.
It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt. But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective.
I agree. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume or anything. That's something.
We must use that to our advantage, Mr. Naruhodo, cunningly.
You're right. Let's listen to the jurors again carefully.
If any of the assertions are allowed, I'll pit them mercilessly against each other.
Yes, don't hold back. Pit them all against each other. Alright, so I think one pit that we can make is between jurors 3 and 5?
I was thinking about that. I was also thinking about 5 and 2 since she was so strongly convinced, but I think 5 and 3 is good. But also, I want to see...
But 6 has the most, like, damning.
I want to press him one more time with the new stuff and see if anything's changed.
Yeah. And that was at around 5 o'clock, you said, the same time the victim was attacked.
Know anything about the girl who was stabbed, but my dinner's on the table at the same time every day.
And for the record, could you please identify the precise location of your fall?
Oh, perfect.
Goodness, it was aeons ago now. I'm not sure if I can remember.
It was 3 days ago. Try dredging your memory, please.
Well, let me see. It was especially slippery around about... Ah, yes, I remember now. It was just on the corner here.
What happened to you then? Were you alright?
Well, you don't get too many people down Calabash Road, you see. There was no one around when I fell, no one around when I knocked myself out. Don't around when I came to again, and no one around when I sneezed. I picked myself up and went back to my nice warm house where my grandchildren were waiting for me.
A sad and lonely picture you paint, sir. You were fortunate not to have frozen to death.
Yes, how lucky that he wasn't more seriously injured.
True. Sounds like it was very nearly another hospital admission, or worse. Yes, one more thing. Were you wearing that same green overcoat on the day in question?
Absolutely, it's the only coat I have! Took until this morning to dry out properly. Good job, too, or I would have had nothing to wear here. Count your blessings, I say. Ho, ho, ho. Santa.
Suppose we should. This gentleman had a close shave.
It's gonna be all this again.
Uh-huh.
Civils, sure, Natsume. Advantage, you're right. Assertions, hold on, hold back.
Put them all against each other.
Alright, what you doing?
5 and 3. 5 and 3. First, because I don't remember if this is going to, like, take away me points or anything.
They'll never
Oh,
take me
smart.
Lucky Charms.
Picture of the clouded Kokoro. Oh, oh.
Kokoro.
X.
And
Yup.
Iggy-ari. These two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel, explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me. I swear.
Eh? What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3.
Oh, me, sir? What do you mean?
Juror number's 5 words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited a number of secondhand books. A bookshop with a number of secondhand books. And on the same day,
a bookshop with numbers.
we now know that there were works being carried out on Meersham Street, making it impassable, which means that the defendants are at home. Could not have taken him along Meersham Street and down Briar Road.
Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir?
Well, yeah, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right, eh? Juror number 3 said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But, we see now, he had no choice.
Yes. My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yeah?
I don't think, in all good conscience, that I can say that the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened.
They're so talented.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do that. Fired.
What about you, sir?
Me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in, that's what I say.
Haha. Labor jokes.
Labormemes.facebook.group.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful.
We've managed to change a couple of minds at least. It strengthened our position somewhat.
So 6 and 2? Because wait, her argument. Hang on, sorry.
No, you're
Keep going with
good.
this.
They're asking themselves if their leanings are right or not. Now if only. We just identify one more clue or discrepancy. We can stop doubting him. We might be able to tip the balance completely.
That's exactly what we've got to do. Ben Zykes is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's why we have to prevent, by any means we have at our disposal. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord.
So, I need to remember what she said. Woman in green clouds before his eyes. Wait, only so we should
Okay.
pit her against the old man.
Yep, precisely.
These two statements show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel? Well, juror number 2, juror number 6.
My, whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you.
Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There's at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of secondhand titles. He then returned home on foot.
But the man said he has no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are all aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Can we really be sure of that, madame?
Whatever do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my.
Hey, let's go even his attention.
My goodness, you mean?
That's right. I'm referring, of course, to the hard of hearing juror number 6.
Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench here with me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man had a somewhat similar build to the victim. Wow, look at that!
My goodness me.
Sorry, you need a pee?
And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home.
Oh my.
You're an idiot! Oh man, if you hadn't been so daft roaming about there, we'd have boxed us off hours ago.
Really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip on the ice?
Gonna kill them.
Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat? Is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
What are you doing on that cell phone?
Oh, I have to
He's
walk
looking up
through,
the answer.
Okay.
I do declare that I would. I shall call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you.
I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Ain't it? Well,
Snarls.
He sneers. He'll scream in your ears.
Well, that summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes 2, the noes 4, so the noes have it not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
sippy. Ooh.
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection?
Yeah?
Only to crush it in disgust?
Yeah.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zee.
Who keeps giving this man wine if he keeps just breaking the shit?
Scotland Yard just funnels it to him.
Seems I must retract my earlier remark.
What do you mean?
Mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Holy shit, bro.
Whatever do you mean?
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth.
Indeed.
Lord Van Yikes.
Lord Van Yikes, indeed. Holy shit. Indeed, stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir?
That's right. Took me the whole day. Paid a measly tuppence for it.
Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents?
Yeah. If I'm honest, I don't have a clue now.
2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters. That's not much at all.
In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Okay, but they said they were they said they turned everyone away. Like, they established that.
Uh-huh.
Shut your van cheeks up.
Ooh.
Would you not agree, my stalwart friend?
We're about to Van Yeet this man out of the courtroom.
I can't say you're wrong, no. What?
Did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works?
I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have hoped to pass it anyway. We just turn any jumping folk back when they came. Kids jump right over us all the time.
The accused is no gentleman, as far as I can see.
Van Yikes, indeed.
I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in this meandering around town.
Ah. Is that true? Is it?
The incontrovertible, what a word.
Yeah.
Truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There could be no doubt that on his way back to the lodgings, Mr. Natsumi walked down Briar Road. Can I please get the name of these books? It's driving me insane. Please give me
Green eggs and ham.
Toucan Sam.
Where the wild things are. Crushed in a single sentence.
Yup.
And old man.
Old man, you can talk?
Say that at around 5 o'clock on the day in question you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time?
I can't say as I remember.
You don't remember?
How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was the old man that the accused saw. I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it.
Defeated. Order! Order! Lord Van Zikes, explain yourself.
My lord,
If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination?
I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. Wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. My hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. Hey, yo.
Handsome.
Time.
So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over.
What are you talking about?
My lord, kill this man. The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand.
Granted, bailiff! Release the dancing lobsters! It's the next witnesses.
Dancing lobsters?
Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident.
I remember one of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less.
I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness.
Alright, no matter who Van Zykes brings to the stand is his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over.
I knew you were gonna be a character, but goddamn. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. But first, I have to go deposit evidence.
Take this. Do
Oh no.
you have any thoughts?
I'm ready for a nap.
You ready for a nap?
Ready for a nap.
We're like halfway through this trial.
This room is dark and cold.
Yeah?
I'm in a blanket.
Alright, so I need to take the blanket off you is what I'm hearing.
What I thought what you would hear is that I need more light.
I don't know if I can do that.
Then I guess you can suck my toes.
I shall not. Opening Google Home.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
I think when I was playing the game the first time at some point you walked in on me cross-examining these two and thought they were really cute.
I do think they're really cute. Aww. Zach's talking to Navi.
Oh.
What did Navi have to say?
She was up on a little pedestal, and then when I got back, she was like laying down right underneath the door, and I was like,
Oh, she knows.
she was very receptive though. I scooped her up, and like she didn't like freak out or nothing, and was like purring by the time I sat her back down on the pedestal.
Oh, good.
So she's getting better slowly.
Names and occupations, huh?
God damn, they're cute.
Constable Rolly Beats, sir. Nothing to report on the streets, sir.
Wait a minute.
And I'm Mrs. B. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife.
What's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Yo, same!
I was literally about to make a joke and be like, "It's you two." You know what?
Look how he's
It's
fucking
right.
chewing on his helmet. Like, see that? No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. It is cute.
Hardly surprised.
Oh yeah, I love how overworked the police are.
Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world.
Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from the rare days off, our gallant officers charge at some 20 miles a day, you know?
Hey, Google. Turn off cove lights.
Ha!
Claire's getting me.
Next then I'll poke you to keep you awake. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check the meters in a reading shrew, tickle my beard.
Hey Nick, can you turn on the other 2 lights that are in here?
I was about to do.
Yeah,
do
got
it.
it.
Do it.
And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights.
There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all.
I wouldn't be falling asleep on my feet. I have collapsed long ago.
It goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. But the London Bobby is a man of honor.
There he is.
Meanwhile, he's sitting there literally going...
The man of slumber.
On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction. They witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. B?
That's right, sir, isn't it, Rolly?
Constable Rolly Beats, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir.
Nick, I have a question about these 2.
Yeah.
Are they wearing one scarf?
I was wondering that.
It's a prize for later.
Oh, is it? It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There's no time to change after work. Anyway, the 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog in the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, then the other scattered something before running off. We went straight over her, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box. I know, I like her bow too.
I like her bow. I like her eyes.
You don't like her eyebrows.
No.
Oh.
It's phenomenal. She's 10 out of 10. She's a cutie patootie. But, like... it is probably going to end up being insignificant. But that love note has been, like, bothering me this whole time.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I'm just looking for something that could be a motive for stabbing someone, and I'm trying to figure out... I'm trying to remember what the name was. I want to say it was Sarah for some reason. I know we don't know the victim's name.
Uh-huh. Nick,
Yeah?
do you have anything to say about this?
No.
Why?
Because it would be too much information for me to say one way or the other.
Oh, so you do have information then?
Or lack thereof.
Can you at least tell me if I'm right about the name, because we've technically seen that and I've just forgotten. Was the name Sarah on the letter? Do you remember?
The name on the letter is not something to be concerned about right now.
You're such a
Motherfucker.
bitch.
I don't think it was Sarah.
But then was it Patricia? Okay. All right.
It was definitely that Japanese man on the dock. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh dear, this policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed.
It's death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate bechancing, and on your wedding anniversary too.
Oh, I know, but I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that.
Amen, sister.
Gosh, the life of London Bobby sounds very hard indeed.
I'd like to meet
Indeed.
Bobby someday.
However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without a doubt the accused mistress of Seki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
Except that the man's so tired his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense. Commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord.
This man a cup of fucking coffee.
Yeah, honestly. It was our... Yeah.
It was our wedding day.
No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the policeman's beat?
No, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Oh, I like the character portrait. It's very like
It's fun!
oh.
Yeah. Look at that strapping young man. Well, I think you could probably see why the children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Rolio looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down the ground, doesn't it, darling? Right!
What? Oh, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy.
Oh no, really, I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes, I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy.
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you finished your beat for the day, correct?
That's right, sir, yes. Although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm proud owner of this, I'll serve the city and my queen to the end.
What's that now?
My warrant card, sir. Proof I'm a London copper. It is the noble founding principles of the force written on it. It's a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty to patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and for such a noble cause I cover 20 miles every single day, without fail and without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all the Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure.
So fighting crime doesn't appear to come and do it then.
But sir, just on that one particular day I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Miss Beat puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
Oh.
That's precious. Thank you. Oh! Oh, Rolly.
I gotta get one with both their eyes.
Oh, my heart. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold.
A little over the top, perhaps.
Not at all.
And then,
Absolutely fine with me.
now kiss! Kindly describe what happened next.
Two silhouettes in front of us. Out of the fog.
Two silhouettes.
That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume.
That'll make no sense.
Oh no, a plump figure and skinny figure, one after the other.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does.
You're certain that at that time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all, isn't that right, my darling? Right?
What? Oh, yes, that's right. Of course. There was no light fog. There was a light fog on the ground. But Briar Road is dead straight, and you could see a fairly long way down the pavement. And there's street lighting as well. I didn't see any other suggestion.
Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you've just said?
Yes, sir. There's a copy who spends all day, every day, keeping watch on the streets. I swear to it, sir.
Yeah.
I'm as sure as my love for Patricia is true.
Ugh. Make
God.
me sick in the best way possible.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rowley.
Still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. Starting to seem like that must be how it really happened.
It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run.
Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly.
Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed?
He just collapsed.
Oh, scattered.
Scattered something. What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling?
Well, yeah, that's right. It was some old books.
I see, old books.
Give me the names, give me the names, give me the names.
Yes, sir. The culprit had dropped a number of them, all around where the victim lay on the pavement.
Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print.
The rotten Japanese man did just what... did that when he did the deed.
Let's not forget it remains to be established that the defendant was the attacker.
But we saw him. It was the man in the dock without question, sir. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth, the snub nose. Everything.
Any more insults you want to throw in?
That's right, he looked down at the poor, defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes, and then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away.
I see. This is tough. They seem as tough as though they're telling the truth here.
I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please, continue.
Yes, sir.
Yee-haw!
Yeehaw.
Went to a police box.
Oh, are these your favorite witnesses in the whole game? Yeah, they're pretty good. What is your... Was it your husband who went to fetch help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am proud. I am the proud wife of one, after all. Isn't that right, my darling?
What? Yes, that's right. I asked Miss Beat to go. I was off duty by that point, but a Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene.
Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance.
That's why I sent Patricia. You see, I told her where to find the right police box.
Forgive my ignorance. But what do you mean exactly by the right police box?
Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it.
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know.
Thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please, you're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? Look, we're blushing.
Yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir.
Let's move on, shall we?
That man's just gonna keel over.
What the? But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you?
We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know.
Right.
The light from the street lamps was more than enough. My husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he?
Yeah, and what of the fog?
We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see it, the hand at the end of your own arm.
Yeah, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about?
The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
What? Ah, yes. It was the accused, no mistake. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, and the top mouth, and the stubborn, no, unmistakable, sir.
As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony?
That's the entire testimony. What do you think?
Well, I hate to admit it, but hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Miss and Miss Beat have what they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day.
Yes, I feel the same.
So if that's true, where does it leave us?
The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony.
Oh no! Then what do we do? What about?
If Kazuma-sama were here.
He'd have won by now.
That's a low blow, Susato.
What are you trying to say?
I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony.
You ever heard of it? What do you mean, somewhere else?
Their statements about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory on the day is accurate.
Oh, right.
Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in the statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion.
What I always seem to be up against it.
Hey Nick, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we gonna find out the names of the books?
I think the books have names.
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony, is that right? Is it? Well, out with it.
What? No. It's really not that at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped?
Thank you.
How do you know that was coming?
What about them books? I could tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one.
We'll volunteer this information.
And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is.
That will do, Miss Beat.
Mrs. B. No, it won't do at all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Rowley will.
I really don't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fists down. But perhaps you would take the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Miss Beat. Mrs. Beat. Might that appease you?
Appease her. Oh, thank you, my lord, but settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling?
No, the one time.
Oh, one time. I could even tell you the names of the 4 books he
You
dropped at the scene.
Got to be fucking me.
One, 2, 3.
More fucking book!
I mean, it could be like behind them. Well, like I don't know. It's tiny feet.
Tiny
No.
feet.
Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say.
Those purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question.
After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I am a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Rolly.
And what was your husband doing at the time?
Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling?
Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. Well, Mrs. Beat, seeing as you've regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you've observed at the scene?
I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? There was the picture of Monsieur someone or other, and What's It Yearnings?
He's even. Okay.
Yearnings, yeah.
Oh shit.
Ah, shit.
Ah shit.
Then there was, a meal for someone, and the last one was definitely the Thingummies something.
Well, that sucks.
Wow, yeah, she remembered the names of the books. Kind of. You see?
Yeah, I see that there were one or two holes in your memory.
Oh, well, they were along those lines, I'm quite sure.
For indeed, books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it.
Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling? Oh my god, yes!
Oh my god!
Upset that my Patricia will have me to answer to!
Bro, you can't just do that! You're in court. Holy shit!
Oh, how romantic. He's waving a gun around for me.
Terrifying.
Yeah, she really is. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony.
What do you think, Mr. Naruto?
I hate to admit it, but hearing the testimony really does seem as though Mrs. B saw what they saw. Mr.
Whoa!
Natsuway running away from the scene on Briar Road.
Uh-huh.
I feel.
Yeah, same. If Kazuma-sama was here, he would already know what to do.
Oh, if
You know-
Kazuma was here.
Only Kazuma was here.
Yeah, they're gonna call for a guilty verdict. But you know what Kazuma would do? He would try and find holes in their
Stick his
testimony.
sexy finger in the air,
Something
and
that would contradict.
the jury would immediately just innocent.
Innocent.
Put simply.
I liked that little summary.
Yeah.
Alright. So, really, the only thing that we have to have is that 4th book, right? Is that the only contradiction that we have?
This is the only one you noticed?
That's pretty much the only one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right.
So we present the list of the books, right? Or the receipt.
Igi Ari. So, you're saying that there were 4 books?
That's right, I remember all of them. Picture of Munjir someone, Was It Yearnings, A Meal for Someone, and the Thingy Gummy something.
I'm sorry, Miss Beat.
But there's a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours.
Oh no, what flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4.
What?
That is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books.
Your books?
Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
Only 3, but no, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There were 4 books, I tell you, 4 dirty old books.
Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime.
Could we also have presented the photo, Nick?
I think so. As you clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books.
But I just don't believe it. I saw them there. I swear it. I saw them.
No, madame, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon.
Grr. You're gonna kill this man.
Let him.
So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no!
Oh, it does look like one scar.
It does. He's gonna be like, what difference does one book make? It doesn't matter.
And that book was the Bible.
It's plainly evident. It is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend.
What? Drink up, Homestuck.
What cannot be denied that these 2 witnesses saw that the accused running from the scene.
Waddle, waddle, waddle.
Fact that you know very well and have no hope of disproving.
Ah!
So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair?
Ugh. He sees right through me.
Your plan has somewhat recoiled against you.
What are you talking about?
It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh,
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
But what about the photograph? It only shows 3 books.
Quite right, only 3 can be seen. That print.
That print, you mean to say?
Ah, start a fucking fire, bro. Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand. You take a fucking bite out of it, bro?
I don't believe it! It's the 4th book!
So you will observe. 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso.
No. No. Order!
there, you see, look at that. Look.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir.
Study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Miss Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
Picture of Monsieur Lecoq,
Was it yearnings?
Canterbury Yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Gabaroy, in fact. Court has just heard. The witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details.
Flawlessly.
Miss Beast's power of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Do you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. Flawless, Patricia is flawless.
But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Miss Beat mentioned 4.
There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly the fourth book is that which is shown in this photographic print.
I'm sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why would there be a fourth book omitted from the receipt?
It's not odd at all, my lord. Photograph clearly shows the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim.
The victim was holding her own book?
Whoa.
Holy shit.
I wonder what became of that fourth book.
See, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence.
You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel.
My pleasure, my lord. Prosecution rests. And so do I. Nothing further to add.
What? What?
You seem surprised, my learned friend. Your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. Spurious longer route to the accused's lodging that you tried to establish in your summation examination and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I?
You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
Perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. The court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty?
Look at the book.
I just want to see it.
The
Lion's Pride.
It's not.
Why? What up with that? Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt.
You're right, you'd never be able to read it in this state.
Huh.
Especially not the latter pages.
Huh. Hey, Zach.
Been somewhere with a fire where things got burned.
We've been somewhere with a fire where things got burned. Had to do with the book.
Remember
too, didn't it?
deducting the beast?
You remember deducting.
But there wasn't a broken window, and there was there.
Broken.
Did you read your line, Nick?
Oh, you're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state. Yeah, I did read that.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. We were thinking.
Are you thinking?
Oh,
Oh
Are you
no.
tired?
no. Okay.
We're very close to a stopping point if you want.
I would like that because I am starting to get hit with the sleepies, and I do want to, of course, give this my full attention.
Yes.
But this is quite unusual, isn't it?
This is good.
Finish it out. We are very close to that stopping point.
But I just wanna think. But I
You
just
wanna
wanna
think?
use my
Okay.
brain instead
Think
of
out
being...
loud.
What are your thoughts? Connect the dots.
Okay.
Say it out loud.
You and I are connecting dots right now.
So
You're thinking fire.
Okay, we're thinking fire. So, some love thing is maybe going on between the tenant of the house and maybe this young lady. And we have a connection to that via the love letter, if that is true. But it wasn't in his name, which is weird. He could have lied, which is less weird if he's having an affair.
Uh-huh.
How did, if the fire from this book is from the fire that the couple started when they got into an argument, but how did this book get from her possession?
That's the question, isn't it?
That is the question. I was thinking for a moment that like maybe this literally is his wife was the woman who collapsed, but like that doesn't make any sense. She's still like comatose in a hospital.
Mhm.
Right. My neighbor is going
Fucking
hard on the
nuts on the
drums
drum.
right
Yeah,
now.
on the-
Holy shit.
Let's go, bro.
Get it, buddy. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
A book recently damaged by fire. Why does that raise a red flag with me?
Hey, let's go! Update that! I almost said the autopsy report.
Lion's pride.
The lion's pride.
The other thing I wanted to double check.
Something caught your attention earlier.
Was it the name that Pat gave to the book?
Picture of Monsieur something or other.
No, we can't go that far back anymore.
No, wait, no.
No,
It's
they're
a
right
little
there.
bit down. A little bit more. Yeah.
But she doesn't give the name of the fourth book.
Oh, she lists four book names there.
She doesn't list the fourth name.
I understand.
She listed it before this section, but she doesn't list it. He purposely doesn't make her list the fourth one during this section, so I can't go back and double check it.
I understand what you're saying now, yeah.
Because I can't remember what she said, a something for someone. It was something really big like that.
Yeah.
A meal for Gabro.
You have heard all the witnesses and seen all the evidence. This trial has run its course.
Mr. Naruhodo, we're in a terribly precarious position.
I know, but if I fight back the wrong way now, it could very well make matters worse.
Oh, Nick, what are you looking at? What you looking at?
Don't worry about it. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What would you do?
You know what Kazuma would do?
When?
He'd raise the fucking objection!
You can do it.
I'm not done yet.
No, my learned friend. It's over. At last, cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate.
Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. Kazuma would think of what to say.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. It seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed.
Yikes!
For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene in a moment like this.
Oh. Oh.
Get his ass, Ryunosuke.
I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo, you dare speak on behalf of a woman?
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madame. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please.
Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? It's yes, if I may, your hair is whack as shit. What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
Lord Van Zeeks, I want to know, why do you drink such cheap wine?
Oh, shit.
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible the new evidence might be just the decisive proof we've been looking for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take the opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible.
Hint.
Nudge, nudge!
Already
Nudge,
did
but
it.
we did that.
Yes, I understand. I understand. Thank you, Miss Susato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
It's
The book,
yeah.
right? It's the book?
It's gotta be the book.
It's gotta be the book.
It's gotta be the book.
Because apparently it's not our armband.
Gabba Biba book. It's Gabba Biba book.
Gabba bee.
But you know, maybe in case it's not.
But it's Gabba Biba book.
You know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. It's definitely the armband.
Check it out, Your Honor. The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print in the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
Already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as well you know.
Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question would be hitherto undiscovered clue.
Ooh.
So I must insist you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Yes, my lord. It's,
Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track.
I see. I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals?
Ba-dun!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? Good gravy! It's been burned to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend?
Oh?
Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. Should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide?
Oh boy.
A charred book. There is just one possibility here which I can't quite bring myself to rule out.
Yup.
It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this game theory of yours.
Not the game theory.
What are you suggesting you can ascertain from the Sans Undertale nests under the Earthbound?
Its owner?
It's... Yeah. Right?
I mean, do you have cause to believe that the owner might be related to the fire damage?
Do you have cause to believe that you may
You have
get some bitches at some point, huh?
Do you have Kazuma? My lord, the burn on the back of the book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon.
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand and she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers.
The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand is yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to, where it originated.
I forgot that he had a bunch of lion-themed shit in his house, too.
Yeah.
So the connection was way more obvious than I thought.
The defense has very credible answers. I think he specifically mentioned this book too.
You're right.
Good
but-
gracious, how can you possibly?
Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gambit goes awry.
Oh yeah, one of the members is gonna burn us, alright.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Mr. Moon!
Mr. Moon!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb.
The landlords?
Whether this is a somewhat extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Miss Garadeb herself.
Oh my goodness. Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Miss Garadeb, Mr. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house?
I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say. You implicit this hard-working member of the public, you besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Go to hell.
This is not mere conjecture, the defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. Good lord, what sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord.
Right to say it was, happened in the blink of an eye, you know? The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bounty thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bounty furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Well, shit.
Oh my god.
He's like
The
hissing.
Lion's Pride.
By Jove, it's the same title as the subject of debate.
Oh dear me.
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. Entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime, but the scene of the crime is like, it's like here's the scene of the crime, and then here's like 12 feet away, here's where it happened.
Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Going into details, it appears that Miss Garadeb was considerably enraged.
But what if we went into details right here in a court of law?
Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garadeb even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly?
Pull out the gun.
Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
Well, my favorite old novels in that case, but as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. The wife started hurling things at me.
Like a knife?
There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire.
This is so fucking absurd how this is panning out.
The man had his back up against the window and he had burning books thrown at him.
So many possibilities. This is so dumb.
So
so
dumb.
dumb.
Goodness gracious, are you suggest the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. There is no report of the Garadeb's window pane being broken.
That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garadeb household.
They wouldn't let us open the window.
Yeah.
But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and...
Not even remotely. Let's not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
There was smoke in the room!
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim the book was found at the scene with a flaming projectile by Mr. Garadeb's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord.
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tips set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
You're right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this? Nippany spouting his fancy foreign theories. Think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. And he ran away from the scene, too.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me.
Sorry? What's that?
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement.
Why?
What is your position, Lord Van Zleek?
I only wonder what his position is.
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protraced proceedings. Then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
Lamb. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't...
There it is, baby!
Ooh, leggy. Leggy.
If books are your if books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. Ow.
Now get the shit off my shoe.
No, forgive the discourtesy this time. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty.
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 Don't say it. You son of a bitch. I trusted you.
Not this shit again, bro!
Don't you worry.
Thank you for that unambiguous response. It's twice now. It's over.
Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up.
Sato,
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet.
you can do the thing. You're not suggesting.
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation
You're
examination.
gonna tell me to do the thing that's my only option?
You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
My lord, the defense asks to exercise its right to a summation examination.
You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve.
I don't intend to trick anyone. I intend to uncover the truth. The truth.
The truth.
It's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to fight strong and determined. There you go.
All right. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, so there isn't too much left of this case, but like we could finish it next time, and then if we're still up for it, start the next one.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
I'm down for that. What a kooky time this fucking case has been.
Kooky indeed.
There's just so much going on.
I really didn't think that stuff was gonna, come back.
What stuff?
Marital affairs.
They spent so much time on it, and Hairlock had his whole thing about it, so I knew it would come back up somehow. They were very, 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 like, insistent on, like, the window never opens, never, ever.
Uh-huh.
And, like,
Fuck the window.
literally, so, like, everything now has come up except for the fucking cause of the argument, which was the fucking love letter.
Right.
Which, like, you could be like, oh, well, that was just the thing that sparked it. It has nothing to do with the case, except it was found in a book at a fucking bookstore. God damn it, I wish I had just paid more attention to that, because I want to know if you went to the same bookstore, and, like, what the name on it was, and, like, it's not evidence. I can't see it. Maybe it'll become evidence when she starts talking about why she started beating the shit out of her husband.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It feels very important, and it's just the only thing we haven't really talked about yet.
It feels important.
It does feel important, doesn't it?
It must be. Okay. Hey, bye, people. Thanks for the follows. We will play the game again later.
We sure will.
We love you like Patricia loves Rolly.
Thanks for watching, y'all.
Thank you.